Hello, here we are, Thursday, 12 noon. As always, the Green Umbrella live lunch. So it's just myself and Jane today. Mark is really busy. He's like, but it's his own fault, Jane, I reckon. We can complain about him a little bit just for a moment or two, because he's not here to defend himself, and he's probably not listening either. So just so you know, Mark did jump on. He was expecting to be joining us today, and we said, "Don't worry, you go back on the tools. We'll cover it. Don't you panic." He's just had a few days off. Can you imagine? You've had the Christmas break. Everyone's like desperate to get back to work. He comes back for 2 days and swans off on holiday for a long weekend. It's like, and then he's complaining that like, oh my God, I've got so much to do. He's not complaining. I feel bad that he's got a lot to do. But I think, it's a bad idea to take holiday in January because everyone wants to do new stuff with their marketing and like improve their websites and rebrand and stuff like that. So, Mark, it's your own fault. It's nothing to do with me and Jane. Back me up, Jane. Back me up.
Yep, definitely.
Fab. So, Jane, how have things been for you? You've been stuck at home with you've been all right, haven't you?
Yeah, I've managed to avoid the Rona.
COVID and everything else.
Yeah, so for the last 13 days, I've had to live with people with COVID, but not managed to actually catch it myself, thank goodness. I'd like to think by now that I'm not going to, so we'll see. But yeah, everyone's now testing negative. It's day 6 for my son, and so hopefully if we test negative again tomorrow, we'll be free. But for now, yes, I'm still at home.
Okay. And like I said, it's like last week felt like a really weird start to the year, but it's like everything's gone full throttle now, hasn't it, in terms of people wanting to jump on and commit and sort of things where they were perhaps a little bit, what does lackadaisical mean? Does that mean like not quite keeping up with things?
Yeah, kind of thing, yeah. But I know what you mean. Everyone is literally, it's like, oh, January, it's January, we need to do something.
Yeah.
It's got a bit mad this week.
Yeah. So where are you finding sort of I know for me what seems to be the big thing right now that everyone wants to get on top of, but what is it for you based on the people you're talking to?
Well, the one thing that I've done more of in the last few weeks is actually email marketing stuff. So all of a sudden, all of our clients want email marketing, don't they? And it's like, well, it's 100%. Great, obviously, but it's all of a sudden, that's the focus, which it hasn't been that much before.
Definitely. It's email more so than anything else that people are going, like, we really need to sort this out. And then I'm like, okay, so tell me, what are you doing email wise? And they're like, nothing. They're like holding up big fat zeros, and it's kind of, it's weird because this is something we've drummed on about for years and years and years and years, and how it's like the unsexy bit of your digital marketing, right? It's like social media is kind of fun and sexy and new. There's always new developments, that kind of thing. But your email marketing is like it's just one of those basics. You don't have a toolkit without a hammer in it. Every like, even if you haven't got a toolkit, you've probably got a Phillips screwdriver. And email marketing is like the equivalent for me. It's like it's just a basic thing we should all be doing all the time, and that's where we're always going to get results. So if you're listening to this and or you've been talking to someone and they've got a database but they aren't doing any email marketing, just go and poke them in the eye or something, whatever you need to do to wake them up, and send them our way, because it really is. It's like one of the best marketing activities you can run. What's really interesting about email marketing at the minute, though, is that you get all these, it's this time of year, like December, January, you get loads of blogs and reports and things like that. And like, these are the trends for digital marketing. This is the trend for LinkedIn. This is the trend for email marketing. And if we look at what people have talked about as the trends email marketing wise, like what those trends would be previously, things you must make sure you include in your email marketing, the stuff that always used to be at the top of the list is now at the bottom of the list. So things like making sure that your email is optimized for mobile. It's like for years and years and years, like all these reports have said, make sure it's mobile optimized, make sure it's mobile optimized. And right now, that's bottom of the list. So can you guess what I'm seeing as being, as like in loads of articles at the minute, what I'm seeing as being top of that list?
No, I can't actually.
It's really funny, right? So the thing that is like, so on my, I've got my other window open. Okay, so this is an article for Social Media Today. Okay, 7 email marketing trends for 2022. Okay, user generated content. Well, that's something we always used to talk about on social media. We always used to talk about like Instagram. If you want your Instagram account to work, you need to get user generated content, especially if you're like selling a product. And I know we talked about you on this before, Jane, haven't
We
we?
did, yeah.
So yeah, Jane's bought a few. What was it? Was it like handbags or boots or shoes or something like that?
Various things, really. A jumper as well. Just yeah, clothing items, really. So
Yeah, and like you posted on Instagram with them tagged in who you bought them from, and then they were using that in their online marketing, which was great. But it's like now, actually, what you want to do is take stuff like that and make sure you're using it in your email marketing as well. So that's like not particularly like an amazing. It's not a massive jump for me, but it was interesting that that was being shown as like one of the top things in this article. Okay. The next thing's pretty standard. So it talks about personalization and segmentation. But when we're thinking about this stuff at the minute, you've got to go like super, super, super close, like really like zoom in on this stuff. And like with the personalization, that particular brand knows that Jane's bought that pair of shoes and that pair of boots, then actually it's like, well, you've got these items already. Here's a coat that would look fantastic with them. So you talk about personalization in that sense rather than just saying, "Hi Jane, how's the Pollard family this week?" It's not as simple as just like merge tags. But then one of the next things on there was AR and VR.
oh,
It's weird, isn't it?
different. Yeah, that's not what I expected.
So the thing is, the technology, I don't think is really here yet in terms of being able to incorporate augmented reality and virtual reality into our email marketing. But if you think about the way all the conversations going around, the metaverse and stuff like that, it's actually, yeah, we should really be starting to think about how we can use these systems. So imagine you receive an email and within it, I don't know, maybe there's an image in it. Okay. But if you're able to scan that image, all of a sudden that image becomes a 3D image, or it becomes an augmented reality or a virtual reality experience. It's like, although the tech isn't 100% here yet, and so, well, not mainstream anyway, it's actually, I don't think it's that far away. I just hadn't considered it.
To be honest, though, you saying that, I bought some tables, and when I was looking on the online website, just little coffee table things, you could put the tables in your room using your phone and see what they look like and whatever. So I'm just thinking, actually, where you were saying about personalising it, if I hadn't bought the tables, they email me later, say, "Hi, Jane, we saw you looking at these tables. Here's a link to look what these tables will look like in your room." And if I'm on my phone, obviously I can just click that link and opens up my camera, shows me the tables in my room.
Absolutely. So it's, yeah, like I said, we can start to see it happening, but it's I just thought that was really interesting. The other thing on here as well was that, so I've talked about omnichannel over the last sort of month or so. Okay, so we would always advise people, we don't want you to have a million social media channels and then do a crap job everywhere. Have fewer and do better. And if that means you're only on one for now, that's cool. But the way things are going, the way that audiences are dispersing, most people are using about 3 social media channels on a daily basis. So if we want to sell to those people, we need to make sure we're everywhere that they are. So we've kind of got this omnichannel thing in. But when I looked at this article, it also talked about omnichannel in terms of email. Okay, so think about your email communications, but then also think about how can you like combine that? How can you combine your email marketing activity with your SMS activity? How can you combine your email marketing activity with what you're doing on social? And it's kind of like, don't just restrict yourself to that one form of communication. So that was, for me, that was really interesting, that actually even from an email marketing perspective, we really need to start thinking omni-channel. I had something happen today. I'm it's literally straight after this, I'm heading to the train station into London for an event I'm going to be at for 3 days. This morning, I've had an email with like the, you know, make sure you arrive at this time, blah, blah, blah. But I also had an SMS to draw my attention to the fact that I've got an email. So let's say that email's gone into my junk. Well, that's fine. I've got an SMS telling me it was going to be there somewhere so that I could go and look for it and find it. Like, how often do you think I haven't had that email? And I know maybe you're rushing around. Okay, maybe I've like raced off of this straight to the train station on the train. Now I'm trying to find the information. I'm thinking, crap, I haven't been sent anything. What's going on? I'm ringing them up irate, going, you haven't sent me anything. And it's like, have you checked your junk? Right. It's an obvious thing to think about, but we're in a situation of, you know, where we've stressed ourselves out. I think we've all had that moment where we've kind of gone, oh yeah, it's here in my junk. And like, you're like, damn, I'm that person. But imagine, again, like I said, like how to use these things in tandem. You know, if you've got, you know, from a social media perspective, I haven't checked the social media channels for this particular business, but you know, maybe they've posted on social media saying really excited to have people joining us for our event this weekend. If you're coming, check your emails. If you're not coming, you're losers. Or you know, or perhaps suggesting alternative dates I might be able to book onto. But do you see what I mean? Like how we're able to use these things in tandem means that we can be truly omni-channel in our digital marketing. And like I said, to date, it's a relatively new term within the marketing world, but it's kind of like so far it's always been talked about social media. Be omni-channel, i.e., be on LinkedIn, be on Facebook, be on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitter, on OnlyFans if you fancy it. Not for me, but you know. But do you see what I mean? I thought it was really interesting to look at it from that email standpoint.
Yeah, definitely. Like you just said, though, actually, I have had a couple of things in the sales this year, actually, where I've had a text message as well. So yeah, these companies have put it on Facebook or wherever, and they have sent an email, but I have had a text, and that's fairly unusual. That doesn't happen very often. But I've probably had 2 or 3 this January. And yeah, I didn't even know they had my mobile number. I probably just put it in as I was checking out without even thinking about it. And but yeah, it did quite catch my attention. But I guess if it gets to a point where you get too many of them, they'll start to become white noise again. But for the minute, it works.
But this is it. When it's hyper personalized, it's not white noise.
That is true, actually. Yes. Yeah.
You know, and like I said, the hyper personalization. Well, I'm attending that event. It's arrived in plenty of time. It's yes, it's used my. I think it used my name in there. You know, so it was all really, yeah, like I say, it works really well, and it becomes part of that experience of that event, or that experience of making that purchase or using that service. The other thing that cropped up in this, it was something that's like really obvious, but people don't think about. Okay, so when you send an email, when you send a marketing email, there needs to be something that the recipient can do. Okay, it needs to be interactive in some way. So, Jay, how often, like when we're creating designs for like email templates and that kind of thing, how often are we kind of going like, right, where's the call to action button going?
Yeah, I mean, that is really important, obviously, isn't it? Because you want the person to be, it needs to be quick and easy and obvious.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that is one of the things we have to think about, isn't it? How to make it stand out and how to make people want to click it.
Absolutely. The number of emails that get sent, like we're talking to people and they're like, oh yeah, email marketing, we tried it, it didn't work. Can I have a look at something you've done? And it's just like text. We sent someone an essay and they didn't do anything afterwards. Oh,
Funny
shocker.
that.
Yeah. So it's like it is silly things like having a button in there somewhere so they can find out more, read more, rather than putting all the information in the email. Put it on a landing page or a page on your website or whatever it might be, where we've got a taster. People can click and then go and look at the whole thing when they're ready to. And it's like it makes the information much easier to consume as well, because when they're then looking at it, they're looking at it when they're in the environment to look at it, when they're in the headspace to look at it. Plus, you can then measure those results. So if Jane and I have received your email and Jane's clicked because it's the next accessory to the thing she's already purchased, and I haven't because it's not relevant to me, then you now know that Jane clicked and I didn't. You now know which of us to follow up with. And obviously you can design what that follow-up looks like. It could be, depending on the system you're using, it could be as simple as you've got it set up as an automatically, Jane clicked, so tomorrow she's going to get the next email. I didn't, so I'm automatically removed from that funnel, from that workflow. So like that interactivity within your email marketing is so just massively important.
Definitely.
But yeah, like I said, that's 20 minutes of me really going on about email marketing, which is not what we were going to. We didn't even talk about email marketing when we had a quick chat about what we were going to talk about today. So there you go. Anything can happen on live lunch. Jane's like, what is she like? Well, where is this going, Christina? How are you going to bring it back to what we're supposed to be talking about? But there we go. All good. Like I said, everyone wants to get the email marketing stuff. So if you've been thinking about it, hopefully there's some things in there that will help you. And if not, just bring up and speak to Jane. She'll give you some advice. She'll sort you out. So Jane, you said the last couple of days you've because you've been so busy, you've kind of crammed this morning in terms of what's new in social and that sort of stuff. So what are the things that are surfacing now? Like what's the stuff that's at the top of your head?
A couple of bits. Nothing major because it's January, nothing happens over Christmas and stuff. So most of what's going on is trends for this, trends for that, what to look for this year and stuff. So, there's not a huge amount at the minute, but there's a couple of bits I've found. So Snapchat, I know we don't use Snapchat very often, but they do seem to be there at the forefront of a lot of things. So they've brought out sort of a new emoji poll thing. So in part of the sticker area, you can put a poll on where people can obviously vote using emojis and stuff like that, and you can share that in your snaps and your stories. And the one that I actually found more interesting is they're sort of doing Bitmoji reactions. So like on Facebook where you've got your thumbs up and your love and your care thing, they're doing that, but where you can personalize those with your own Bitmoji, which I actually thought was actually a really good idea. I think I'd quite like that if that was in Facebook, but I don't know, might annoy me in the end, but right now it seems like quite that's cute, let's do that. So yeah, I quite like that one. Twitter, they're doing a bit more on their sort of keyword blocking. So before, if you blocked keywords or you muted an account, you just didn't see it in your feed. Now they've included the what's happening area and the explore area. The things will be blocked there too. And also you won't see those words in any email communications or any event notifications. So to be honest, I didn't realize that they didn't do that before because I've never blocked any keywords or muted anyone. But it seems like a good move from them because obviously if you're blocking something, you're blocking it. You want it blocked everywhere, don't you? So, I thought that was a good one. Instagram, they have, or are testing, a profile status thing. So you can log into Instagram and you can set your status for 24 hours. And it's at the minute, there's only 4 choices. So you can be working, celebrating, busy or happy. But and it'll disappear after 24 hours. But presumably if that test is, it works, then they might introduce some more, who knows. But again, it's little changes, but they're quite interesting ones. And then lastly, TikTok, which actually I think this one is a really good one. They're testing a function to let you invite people to follow your TikTok through different platforms. So you'll make your post and everything, and then you'll do invite people to follow me, and it will send a post to Facebook or to WhatsApp in a text or on Twitter at the moment, I think. And if the person clicks on that little invite, they will see your video that you just posted, and they will automatically follow you as well. So I thought that was quite a good one, actually, because they don't normally sort of spread their stuff out of TikTok, do they? So
well, it's omnichannel, Jane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hashtag omnichannel. But this is the thing. It's like if the platforms are doing it, then surely there's something in that. So like if you don't want to listen to me, like watch what TikTok are doing, because they are one of the fastest growing like apps, platforms, however you want to describe it. If you look at their growth over the last 12 months, it's absolutely crazy. The last 2 years even, it's just unfathomable. Why do I keep saying words I can't say? This should have been my New Year's resolution. Stop saying things that I cannot say. But yeah, you know, they've introduced this. They've also, I don't know how often you're on TikTok, okay, but they've also introduced this thing to try and encourage you to invite more people to join TikTok. So it's not that they've kind of like they're grinding to a halt and growth is slowing and they're thinking, oh God, how do we speed it up again? They're already on a growth trajectory, and we're like, how do we like supercharge this? So I can't remember what the deal is, but it's something like the more people you invite, you get credits. Credits can be exchanged for something, and that sort of stuff. So it's almost like a loyalty, like refer a friend style program within TikTok, which I thought was quite interesting. But I love this thing of actually let's share across to other channels. So you've got an audience on Facebook. Let's use that audience to populate your to create your audience on TikTok. Because again, for years and years and years, we'd like, you know, we've said like cross-pollinate. You've got an email marketing list, send them a list saying you're on LinkedIn. Go follow your LinkedIn page. This is what you'll get when you follow us on LinkedIn that you won't get here. So I think again, it's like when we're thinking cross-channel, when we're trying to pull our audiences into different places, knowing that, you know, someone like me is all over LinkedIn Monday to Friday, but not really looking at it at the weekend. At the weekend, I probably am in Facebook and Instagram more. Actually, if we can be putting the right content in the right places, so we're hitting our audience at the right times, that's when we get maximum benefit. So yeah, I love that love that from TikTok. If I don't say something now, I'm going to get into a lot of trouble with Kim. Okay. Oh yeah, I can see it. I can see her in the comments. There we go. Bless her. So I've said this several months last year. The first of the month, I'm going to start doing a TikTok every day, and I'm going to commit to that, and I'm going to see like how quickly the audience grows, what can we learn from that, all of that stuff. And Ellie's in there as well. So I've said, so I started it on the 1st of January, and I've said until March, but I think I might actually try and keep it going all year. I'm doing a TikTok every day over there. So some of it is, oh gosh, I didn't mean to put that one up. But get rid of it. Yeah, so Kim and Ellie are like, they're like shouting at me, have you done it yet? Where's your TikTok? Have you done? I got messages Saturday and Sunday from Kim going, where's the TikTok? What's happening? So thank you, lovelies. I appreciate you. But honestly, I was on like day 3, day 4, and I was already going, struggling, don't know what to do next. But we seem to have found a little bit of a rhythm now. Like it's like anything else. Like once you start, it just sort of comes, you fall into a pattern. But what have I learned so far? Bearing in mind we're on day 13. If my eldest daughter is watching this, it's her birthday today. I'm going to be in so much trouble for checking the date. Love you, Emma. So 13 days in, bearing in mind I haven't done today's yet, what have I learned? There's lots of tricks, if you like, to creating something that's actually going to work. Like people are actually going to watch and that sort of stuff. So there's lots of tips and tricks out there. but a lot of them don't make a massive amount of difference. That's what I've learned so far. So we've looked at some stuff. Obviously, like in doing this, I'm looking at other people's accounts as well, researching things, that kind of stuff. And you know, there's this trick of like with using trending music. Okay, and you know, so you would pick a trending track, but you turn the volume right down. And I think it helps in the early stages of growing an account. But I think once you've kind of got an established audience, when you've like been in that situation where you've had a couple of posts sort of go viral, if you like, I don't think it makes that much difference anymore. But I think in the early stages, it's a bit different. I also think if you haven't been posting content and then you do post a couple of days in a row, you kind of get given a bit of a push in the algorithm to encourage you to do more, but then that falls away quite quickly. So I think like looking like 13 days in, I can sort of see this little like what's happened in terms of here she is, Christina's back again, let's give her a bit of encouragement. Oh, okay, well, you know, we'll see if her content's actually any good now that we've given her that little bit of a push in the algorithm. And then if we, I think like looking at it in 3 months' time, we'll be able to see like how much have we grown, like look at the analytics behind it. Might have a bit of a dabble with some adverts, but I haven't told Kim and Ellie that yet. So they'll probably be in panic stations when I start talking to them about that bit. But I think there's a lot of potential from a personal brand perspective on TikTok. But yeah, we'll see where it takes us after that. What's been really interesting is actually saving that content and using it in Reels on Instagram, and then adding the call to actions with the links and all that kind of stuff in stories. And yeah, like I said, I'm really interested to see in 3 months' time doing this every day what difference it makes.
Better start watching them, hadn't I? Sorry.
I mean, like the ones that people like are like the stupid stuff, 100%. So there was one, I think over the weekend we posted one that's like a bunch of outtakes. So
actually, I did see that. You shared that one, didn't you? I did see that.
Yeah, a lot of people found that quite interesting, quite entertaining, and your content should be entertaining. And then there was another one, my grandson Andrew, I sort of picking him up, so he's in the car seat in the back, and I'm like talking to him, and he's being quite responsive. So I thought, aha! So I tried to record like a conversation with me talking about social media stuff and him going like, "Let's go," and yeah, and it didn't really work, but that was quite entertaining as well. You know, don't work with kids, basically, is the message there. So yeah, like I said, I'm just, obviously it's a bit of an experiment. It's a little bit of fun at the same time, of course. A bit of an experiment, and some of the content we're putting on TikTok and we're putting it on as Instagram Reels. Some of it we're sharing direct. Some of it we're recreating in Instagram Reels, and so that we can see like actually, you know, the algorithm on Instagram says if you share a TikTok directly, you get restricted in terms of exposure. Well, is that true? You know, here's a TikTok that was rebuilt. Here's a here's a reel that was rebuilt. Here's a reel that's a direct TikTok. Like, where is the difference? So yeah, very technical stuff.
Hopefully you'll report back when we get to the end of the 3 months.
I think it's certainly making me think creatively in a different way as well right now. It's like just doing another piece to camera is like, I can't just do that every day for 3 months because it's boring for me, let alone anything else.
It's quite a challenge. 7 days a week as well.
Yeah.
That is a challenge.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Cool. Okay, so I interrupted you. So what else have you got for us?
That was actually it. TikTok story was the last thing on my list. So
awesome. So I did have one thing that I was just going to touch upon because I thought it was a good conversation to have with Mark around. So you won't know much about this, I don't think, but I think you'll find it interesting. So obviously a lot of the stuff you do with Green Umbrella is to do with like the blog content, and like when Mark creates a new site, you'll help him in terms of looking at the keywords and making things like optimized for search and all that sort of stuff. So like the SEO bits and bobs. The thing is, it's like I think people don't realize just how many changes happen over the course of I was going to say over a year, but I reckon actually even over the course of a day, people don't realize how many tweaks are made to the algorithms that sit behind Google on a daily basis, where they do something, they just test it and they let it run for a little while. So like a bit like this TikTok test at the minute. Okay, so at the end of the 90 days, if I go, actually, I'm gaining an audience, people are engaging, I'm talking to people that I don't get to talk to on other platforms, I'm going to continue this. Like that's one outcome. The other outcome is I go, this is a waste of my time, it's absolutely pants, and I ditch it. And that's kind of the same thing that happens. They make these changes, make these little tweaks, and they go, does it create a better experience for people using Google? Yes, we'll beef it up, we'll leave it in place, we'll commit to that. Or no, in fact, it's made it worse. Okay, we'll just turn it off and we'll go back to the beginning again. And this is happening. Like, I think I read an article once that said there was like 7-8 changes every day. Wow. Where things are tested and then maybe they're rolled back, or they're tested and then, right, this is something we need to develop further, and like loads of stuff like that. But then I came across this article that was like an overview of all the changes that have actually made a difference in 2021. And I just thought there's some really interesting stuff where, like, so for example, featured snippets. Okay, so people do work on, that when you do a Google search, the bit that appears on your Google page, like the title and the description and like the length of that link and all that sort of stuff. Need to stop for breath, I'm drying out. So that was always really important, getting that bit right from an SEO perspective. And then all of a sudden it wasn't anymore. And then early last year, it was like it made absolutely no difference. And loads of people were saying, like, forget about it. Okay, Google doesn't care about your featured snippet anymore. And according to this, it was about March time. Okay, but then all of a sudden it just came back. So obviously Google did try something. They're like, what if we don't pay attention to this information anymore? And then it went, actually, it doesn't improve the experience for people. So actually, we need to go back now. And like I said, so that, you might have seen articles saying, don't bother with that, makes no difference. Don't bother with that, makes no difference. Well, actually, it does make a difference. And that's why that's come back into play. So there's loads of stuff on it. Page experience updates, that happened sort of June time, where Google was actually looking at, the page on your website as a whole, can a user interact with it? How does the whole page work? How does it load? All of that sort of stuff. If you've got a video partway down a page, or call to actions at the bottom of the page, if you've got too many call to actions on a page and it made the page clunky, stuff like that, like this page experience all came into it. And that was quite a big change that came in sort of June time. And loads of people talked about it then. But if I think about the last couple of months of the year, like, no one says anything around it. Things like the titles of your page, there was an update related to those. And, that basically the more accurately you describe a page now, the better it's going to rank in Google. So there's all these little things that have happened over the last year that help your website to, if you pay attention to them, you've got a website that's better optimized, that's going to perform better in search. So all this stuff's going on, and a lot of people right now are looking at their websites and going, oh, really need a new website, or maybe they had a new website last year and they really want to promote that now. And yet there are some, like, you don't need to, I believe, careful what you say, Christina, My belief is that you don't need to pour masses of money into SEO, but there are some basic things you've got to make sure that you do and that you pay attention to on a consistent basis. So, you know, if you're looking at your website now and you're thinking this is something you need to like just be clear on, just give us a shout and I'll share this link to this article with you. It's like an infographic, and it's got like I said, it's like a roadmap of 2021 and the changes that were made within the Google algorithm, and it is quite interesting to me. Don't know, interesting to you or not? Maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, I mean, the thing is, it's keeping on top of it all as well, isn't it? You can't just read the article in January and assume that's the case for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes when you're seeing things, you go, "Oh, we need to change that. Google's behaving this way now, so we need to change this thing." And you go down that road, not realizing that Google's reverted back over here. So you're now actually doing something that's taking you further away from your goal rather than closer to it. So sometimes it's like Google wants this now, doesn't mean we should necessarily jump on it straight away. And this is why some of these changes also take a long time to roll out. But yeah, okay. I'm going to take this as a sign for me to stop talking, Paul Green. Thank you for that. So to get out more. I'm getting out straight after this, and I won't be back till Sunday evening. So I'll be filled with a completely different energy after that. Nice relaxing weekend I'm having. Anyway, I think that is everything that I've got to talk about, Jane. Anything else from you?
No, I think that's it from me as well, actually. Yeah,
Awesome.
like I said, there wasn't a lot going on this week, really, to be honest. So
no. So I'm hoping that next week we will have an extra person, a new face joining us on live lunch. I'm hoping that we're all going to be back in the office together, and as a company we'll be COVID free. That's my hope for next week. You know, it's not necessarily us in the business; it's people in our homes having it, and yeah, it's not been fun. I like it when we're all together. So, but yeah, hopefully Ellie will be joining us for her first live lunch next week. We said we were going to bring her on from the new year. This is episode 2 of the new year. So fingers crossed, all being well, Ellie will be with us next Thursday for the Green Umbrella live lunch. And she will be bringing us some random facts, hopefully around marketing, but you never know with Ellie. It could be around like the Romans or something like that. That's how random it is. Yeah, Ellie's just said in the comments, Christina's never in. That's where all the knowledge comes from. Yeah, there we go. Cool, brilliant. She'd love to join us. Fantastic. So that's it. That's it from us for another week. We'll be back next Thursday, 12 noon, for another live lunch. Ellie will be joining us, and then after that, hopefully we're going to have some guests for you as well over the coming weeks. But other than that, I'm just going to say goodbye. Yeah. See you later. Have a fantastic week. And we'll see you all next Thursday at 12. Bye for now.
Bye.